Asus made a robotic butler, Pebble core is going to come with Amazon Alexa built in, and Superhot is getting VR and motion controls? That's what I like. Hello and welcome back to this weird, wild, and wonderful thing that I like to do every week where I talk about all of the fun news stories that I've found related to science, technology, drones, and whatever else that I like. First up, OnePlus has made a lot of announcements this week. They're building up to the OnePlus 3 launch, and they're offering to give 30 of their fans a OnePlus 3 to try out and review. Basically, you just go to their site, you fill out a little form, you give some information on yourself as to why you think you should be one of the ones picked, and by the time you see this, the application process will probably already be closed. It looks like it's closing 2 days from right now, and I'm filming this on Friday. But the one thing to keep in mind there is they did have to do a review on the device if they get it, and they do have to return the device. So while it would be cool to be able to get hands-on with it without having to pay anything, you're still not going to be able to keep it. But if you'd like to go ahead and throw money at OnePlus before they even unveil the device and provide all the information about it, and you live in China, on June 6th, OnePlus is going to be doing just that. They're going to open up a flash sale for 1,000 devices. They've got the price set at 29.99 yuan, which is about $445 US. But according to the article I'm reading over on Techno Buffalo, it says when they do finally unveil the device on June 14th, the price may not be $445. And if it's not, they will either refund the difference if they've paid more than that, or they're going to charge you extra before they ship your device. They're still going to ship the device on June 15th. You're just getting in ahead of the queue. That's definitely an interesting one. It says here they're also going to be throwing in 300 yuan worth of freebies. If I had to guess, it's probably a case and maybe a cable. And again, if you're curious about the OnePlus 3, it has already gone through FCC. It's got like the Snapdragon 820, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, a 5.5-inch 1080p display. Yeah, 1080p. So it doesn't really sound all that different from the OnePlus 2, just slight upgrades here and there. There are also potentially going to be 2 different variants of it available. All that's in the first article. I'll go ahead and link to everything down below. But if you do want to be a part of the whole launch event, like I said in a previous video, it's all going to be done in VR, and you're actually going to be able to purchase the OnePlus 3 on day one without using any sort of invite system, which is kind of nice. Am I going to be buying one? I really don't know. I've purchased all of the OnePlus phones up to this point, and I'm not currently using one, so I'm not really sure. Asus also made several announcements this week. First up, the Zenfone 3 has been announced in 3 different variants. You have the Zenfone 3, but then you've also got the Deluxe and the Ultra. The plain Jane Zenfone 3 is a 5.5-inch display device. They've all 3 got different processors, they've all 3 got different sizes and different cameras, so they range from 5.5 inches on the Zenfone 3 up to 6.8 inches on the Zenfone Ultra. In my opinion, 6.8 inches is no longer a phone, but to each their own. And the Zenfone 3 Deluxe actually comes in with pretty flagship specs for right now. It does still have a 5.7-inch 1080p display, but it has a Snapdragon 820, a 23 megapixel camera, USB Type-C 3.0, 6 gigs of RAM, it says up to 6 gigs of RAM. And then the pricing for these, they start at $250 for the Zenfone 3, $499 for the Deluxe, and $579 for the ridiculously massive Ultra. If you couldn't guess, I'm probably not going to be buying that to use as a phone. But if Asus wanted to send one out to me to take a look at, I would try to figure out a bag to carry it in. Maybe my little man bag I did a video about a while back. Asus also announced a VR headset that very much falls in line with the Gear VR. No other information about it other than just a picture is available, and it looks a little bit similar to the Gear VR, except the straps look like they're leather, and around the outside looks like metal, but I'd be willing to bet it's just shiny plastic. Still, it borrows a lot of design cues from the Zen watch, which is not a bad thing. But the most important thing, in my opinion, that Asus announced was a $599 robotic butler called Zenbo. There's a decently long trailer video about Zenbo over on Asus' YouTube channel. Not a great video, but a great demonstration of what the robotic butler could potentially do if you buy a bunch of them, because in the video there are a bunch of them shown. But he's got a little 10-inch display for his face, and he drives around on 4 wheels. 2 big ones, 2 little ones, and again, acts kind of like a robot butler or a virtual assistant. Got a built-in camera and can respond to voice commands, has a big bunch of sensors around, and it says they've got a full day battery tucked in there, as well as, of course, speakers and microphones and sensors and all those things. $600 is really not that bad of a price if you consider what you could be getting with this. I'm still just curious to see if it's going to live up to what they show in the video. It's not available for purchase yet, as far as I'm aware. As soon as it is, though, I'm going to be looking into that, because I could definitely stand to have a little robot butler running around the house. Samsung made some announcements this week. The Gear Fit 2 is coming. It's launching June 10th for $179. It's still going to be running Tizen. And looking at all the features, it's got built-in GPS. It can track your walks and your jogs and your biking. It's got IP68. I'm not seeing heart rate functionality mentioned there, but it does have 4 gigs of storage, so you can put local music and stuff on it as well, so you don't have to have your phone when you go out for a run. That's kind of nice. So I don't know, $179 for that without having a heart rate monitor built in. It's not a terrible price, but it's also just a little bit high. I've heard good things about the Gear Fit in the past though, so this new version probably going to be pretty decent. They also unveiled the Gear IconX earbuds. They're coming in the third quarter of this year for $199, and they're Bluetooth earbuds, but they're also activity trackers, and they don't have a wire. So you put one in each ear, nothing connecting them. Each one has a 1.5 hour battery life if you're using it for activity tracking, and 3 hours if you're just using it for music. Then the charging carrying case has a 300 milliamp hour battery, 315. Each one of the earbuds is less than 50 milliamp hours, so you're talking a total of 3 charges from the case, roughly. At $199, that's a little bit of an investment there, especially when you consider they're not tethered to each other, which is both awesome and not, because if they're not tethered to each other and one falls out and you lose it, it's gone, and that's $100 gone. That's one of the comments that I saw on the Techno Buffalo article. That's a very quick and easy way to lose a lot of money. But it's an activity tracker, and it does have 4 gigs of storage built in, so it might be worth looking into if you're looking for that ultra slim, no wires, sort of light activity tracking, because I don't think I'd go running in something like that. But speaking of things you'd go running in, Pebble made a big announcement yesterday, the Pebble Core, which they're now on Kickstarter with. It's going to be the first wearable device to have Amazon Alexa built into it. So when you've got that little clip, you clip it to your shirt, you're going for your run, you've got your micro SIM card in it, you're actually going to be able to say, Alexa, what's the weather? And it should play up to your earbuds what the weather is. You could tell it to play Amazon Music, and it would play back Amazon Prime Music. So realistically, I got in on the Kickstarter early, so I got this at an excellent price. I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out now. If you are a YouTube Red subscriber, specifically if you are subscribing to YouTube Red, not just subscribe to Google Play Music and getting Red as a result of that, be on the lookout. You may have an email coming. A lot of YouTube Red subscribers apparently got this email offering them a free Chromecast from Google. If you do get that email, you've got until June 19th to reply to it to redeem your new free Chromecast. Unfortunately, I am a Google Play Music subscriber and I'm getting Red as a result of that, so no free Chromecast for me, but that's okay. Mophie's unveiled a handful of new wireless charging cases for the iPhone 6, 6S, 6S Plus, 6S Plus, 6 Plus, all of those, the things that are not the iPhone SE. And if you're familiar with Mophie cases, you know what those do. They add a battery to your device, but in this case, they also add wireless Qi charging. If you recall, I actually made a video about my iPhone SE and how I added Qi charging to it. This is going to do the exact same thing, but instead of just adding Qi charging, you're also going to be adding, I think it says 50% additional battery life to your device. Very handy, very convenient. Price point's around $100 to $130 depending on which device you're adding it for. So if you've got one of those, be on the lookout. Mophie.com, Best Buy, Apple Store, probably on Amazon eventually. There was an article over on Engadget talking about the Rufus Cuff. This one's actually really interesting to me because I've been talking about wearables, like wrist wearables, for a while, specifically starting with things like the Neptune Pine back at CES 2014. I rattle off like it's nothing because I searched it earlier, but the Rufus Cuff is, according to the article, a $300 tablet computer you wear on your wrist, but it's got a 3.2-inch display, it runs Android, and essentially this would turn you into Lita from Futurama, kind of. Or maybe something like the Pip-Boy from Fallout. But with something like this, you've basically got something that's significantly larger than your traditional watch on your wrist all the time, so you don't have to pull your phone out of your pocket ever. In theory, if it's got a micro SIM or a nano SIM slot in it, you wouldn't have to have a phone. You just keep this relatively bulky thing on your wrist. It would be kind of nice if it folded up or was flexible in a way. But the article itself is focusing on the fact that there's a lot of companies that are apparently considering this. Companies like UPS, where you'd be able to use it with something like a scanner, or technically even the camera on it could act as a barcode scanner. They say you could use it for housekeeping at hotels, ticket taking, could be used in theme parks maybe, things like that. I keep thinking of it as an everyday computing device, but this is talking about using it as a work device. So for $300, a company could get in on this, $300 per employee that would need it. Not a bad idea. I'm still wanting it for my personal use because I would really like the ability to just do this and start reading my emails, reply to stuff by talking to my wrist, the whole Dick Tracy thing, but with larger, more interactive screen. I still don't know why I didn't follow up on the Neptune Pine, other than just it was kind of large and bulky, and I need to look into the newer version of it. Moving on. As I mentioned in the intro, Superhot, the game that is just blowing up out there, looks like a lot of fun, but I haven't been able to justify playing it yet. I played Super Truck. Anyway, Superhot is getting VR and motion controls. When they first demonstrated it back at E3 in 2014, I say as I just read it from the article, they demonstrated it using the Oculus, and apparently they're actually adding that Oculus functionality to Superhot moving forward, and it's going to be a free add-on for the game. but it is going to be an Oculus exclusive, not Vive. If you're adding motion controls and VR, why would you not do the Vive? The Vive is the one with the real motion controllers right now, but that should be available later this year, so be on the lookout for that if you have Superhot and an Oculus Rift. Microsoft released the first update to the HoloLens this week, but to go along with that, they also opened up the Windows holographic platform. So third parties are actually going to be able to use this Microsoft software on top of their VR headsets, VR, AR type headsets, so you won't have to buy this really expensive HoloLens if you don't want to. And according to this article on Engadget, apparently they're working with HTC to get HoloLens software running on the Vive, so that's pretty interesting. But the update to the HoloLens, as I was mentioning, it gives you the ability to run 3 apps simultaneously, background playback of music from Microsoft Groove, 3D rotation and placement of holographic images that are being viewed, new voice commands, a photo mode for shooting virtual objects in real-life surroundings, and Bluetooth mouse support if you want to carry a mouse. Very cool to see it continue to update. I just want to see it update into the not being $3,000 price point. And the last thing to mention, one quick drone story. Walmart is apparently working on adding drones to their warehouses. So there's going to be little flying quadcopters going about, checking all of their inventory to make sure everything's there. Should be able to get up and down very quickly, move around very quickly, very small, very nimble. Use the camera on the front as a scanner. Again, barcode scanner. Seems like common sense as long as they can be programmatically controlled to move throughout the warehouses. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. The future of robotic drone type technology is bright. And I think that's actually where I'm going to wrap it up for today. If there's anything that I missed out on, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Remember, if you like this video though, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe to receive more of my videos, and we will see you again next time.